Gosh Tube friends, how is everyone? Today is Sunday the 11th of December, so I'm slightly late with my November update. So this is November and very beginning of December because I just haven't had time. But then I think everyone's the same. It's the festive seasons coming, you know, lots of Christmas stuff and arranging. I'm being inundated here with the entire family, so that's going to be a busy one for me, but I can't complain because for the last 2 years I haven't done it, so it's about time I did it. It's my turn. So some exciting news. So for those of you that are on Facebook, you already know what I'm about to show you. Following the last video where I was sort of saying about the change up and everything that was going to be a little bit different, although I had an idea that I was going to just sort of keep rotating all these new projects and try and get some stuff done, I decided to make my Roses of Provence a focus piece to get her finished. And I'm pleased to say that she is finished. Woohoo! At last! So the last stitch and the last bead went in yesterday. I done a little happy dance around my whole house and was highly excited. And then was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. It was really, really odd. I was so excited to get her finished that when I got her finished, I was like, oh, now what? So about now, you should be seeing where you last saw her, which was back in end of October. So we made her the focal piece, and to be honest, this is basically all I've stitched on at home because I was adamant that I wanted her done, and with everything that's happened with her, I really wanted her done, especially before Christmas. So here we are. So this is the finished product. So here we go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this actually. I'm going to need to stand up, I think, to show it to you because she's rather large. So here she is. So the beads are done, and the tree is done, and the dress is done, and I don't know how much you can see. I'll move her back, but you'll see how big she is. She is a very big lady. Elegant, yes. Let's see if we can get her a bit closer. So here's the beading. Lots of beads in her hair. Beads in the tree. So she's done, people. Totally done, at last. What to say about her? I mean, obviously everyone that's watched my videos through the course of her progress knows that for me there has been ups and downs. She is my labour of love. We've got so many errors in this that it's unbelievable. Got to the bottom of the dress, finished that, started the beading and thought, you know, I need to do the tree over to the left, and I thought, well, the best place to start the tree was at the top, you'd think, wouldn't you? No, stupid trees are. You'll remember that the body, part of the body was wrong, and rather than try and rip it all out, basically we fudged it, which I've now decided that fudging is not fudging. Fudging is, she's unique to me, so she's my unique piece. But we did run into a few problems, so I thought I'd share where the problems are, just so that you know that I'm not telling a fib. So obviously, because the body was wrong, in actual fact, the placement of her hands and things must be a little bit wrong. Because when I was doing her, and I was doing the tree, this is a bit difficult to show you really. So when I was doing her and I started the tree and I worked my way down, got to the stem of the tree, got all the way down here, and then realised that these bits down here, where it's supposed to meet, was out. So the dress was supposed to have finished over here somewhere, and this should have been 3 stitches this way. When I've realised that error, I was like, oh no, here we go again. So obviously without panicking, because I've learned not to panic and to find another alternative and find another way, I've basically just extended the dress somewhat to make it work. So it still hides behind there the way it's supposed to on the chart. And this bit here, same again. This bit of the dress should have been further over, but obviously because the tree's further over, it doesn't stick out as much. But can you see that really? Do I care? Not really. Was I going to make any real serious change to that? Definitely not. So yeah, so obviously there are errors in it, there are problems with it that I knew of. One of the problems that I didn't cater for, which as a bit of a newbie stitcher, as you know, I didn't realise it would have an impact or an issue. But I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I know I can see it, but not overly. But there is so much white on her. So much white. When I was doing the stitching up here, I stitched her the same way that I'd stitch anything else. And because I start in my bottom left-hand corner going up to my top right, and then from my bottom right up to my top left, I usually start in the top left-hand corner of all my projects. Well, obviously, when I stitched her, you don't do that. You start in the middle to find your centrepiece and work your way from there. So obviously I did the top bit first and then obviously went down, and you know that I had a bit done over here and a bit done over there, because I couldn't really, every time I got to a certain point I realised that I'd run into a problem and that I was slightly out and I needed to adjust it to make it work. Well, in doing that, some of my stitching I did from left to right, going across in rows, and in places I basically went up and down. And then on the other side, this side, I started working this way. Now, it doesn't notice amazingly, but there are some places that I can see where I've changed direction, believe it or not. Because obviously when you're going from right to left and you start your leg on the bottom left, you're actually running the thread behind, so it's got more coverage, which meant the white didn't show through so much as it does when you do it the other way around. So although you can't see it massively in places, in other places I can definitely see where there seems to be better coverage in the white in areas than there are in other areas. And by changing that, I can see it. So note to self, you know, this was always a learning piece. This was always a learning curve for me because it was something completely and utterly different to anything I'd ever done. That's not something I'll do again. So my stitching goes bottom left to top right, so I will always stitch left to right and not ever go right to left, because I'm ending up running my threads behind to come up on the bottom left all the time, which then puts more thread on the back. If it had not been white, would I have noticed it? Probably not so much, but because white is the way white is, I think that's sort of one of the issues that I sort of have found out for myself. So it will be something that I won't do again, but obviously it wasn't something I was aware of that it would make any difference or that you'd be able to see it. I thought as long as I kept the direction of the stitch correct, that it didn't make any difference, but it very much does. So, but hey, this is a lesson learned, isn't it? The other lesson that I learnt with this, for anyone that, you know, hasn't done a Mirabilia and is not really a cross-country stitcher, second lesson for myself, I will never do a piece like this without gridding it ever again. Never. I will have to grid. I lost myself in this so many times because I wasn't working with 10 by 10 blocks, and I'm so used to working with 10 by 10 blocks or very small projects where you can't, you know, it's very difficult to go wrong. Whereas with this, it was very easy to all of a sudden find that I was in the wrong place or I was out. So yeah, there's that. The beading I did with invisible thread. Let me get a bit closer for you. So here we go, a little bit closer. So as you'll see, there's some crystals. Oh. There were some little weird ones here, these little flat things, and I wasn't quite sure how you got those on. and then sussed out that I needed to use invisible thread and go sort of through it and round it, so I did that. Obviously the bicones, they were fairly straightforward, and obviously the seed beads were fine. So yeah, so we did all the beading. Invisible thread, first time using it, have to say the way that it looks when it's done is glorious. Is absolutely, you know, when they say it's invisible, it's very invisible. You can't see a thing. However, trying to work with it is a whole nother ball game, especially when you're sort of trying to make sure that your rows or your lines are following in the right way, because it's so easy to put it in the wrong place and you can't really see it. So although some of the wiggles were supposed to have places, I mean, that, like there for instance, is a straight line, which is what it's supposed to be, which is perfect. But in other areas, it didn't go so well. So, like over here, I was trying to do the straight lines, but obviously I put the needle in one hole further than I should have done. And with invisible thread, it's very difficult once you put it through to get it back out again through the same hole, because you can't really see it. So yeah, again, I will definitely use invisible thread because it is invisible. It's fabulous. You can't see any of the thread. Look, if I get really close, you can't see any thread at all. It's invisible, totally invisible. But by being invisible, it can be really, really difficult to work with. So, I mean, I used my special head thing with the visor, with the magnifiers on, and even with that on, it was still really, really difficult to make sure I was in the right place. But I'm still overjoyed with that. I mean, the arms, am I happy with the arms? Not overly. You know, but I think I was always going to have an issue with the arms because I knew that they were a bit wonky. Am I going to do anything about it now? Hell no. I'm not touching her. She's going in a frame like this. And it will be something that I look at and think, do you know what? I remember that. I'll remember the tears. I'll remember how much I loved her. I'll remember at times when she got kicked across the living room. So yeah, so, you know, lessons learned in this piece. It was something new. I knew there was a possibility that this would happen, but I've learned so much from her. You know, she has been like a teacher, really, because I've learned everything that I needed to learn. And massive thank you to all those people that were on Facebook, on the Mirror websites, Stitch Mania, my retreat friends. Everyone that had an input, gave me advice, gave me their opinions, you know, massive thank you, because, you know, I wouldn't have been able to get through this or do this if it hadn't have been for the community, because I really didn't know what I was doing. But it's just proof that you don't really have to know what you're doing, necessarily, as long as you've got a good community to back you up and help you out when you do hit a problem. So, huge thank you to all those people that had an input and that cheered me on and gave me all the support that I needed to actually to not lose the will and not lose hope in myself and just put it to one side and go, that's it, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore because I don't know what I'm doing. So it's only gratitude to everybody that's had some sort of input and support to make this actually come finish, because there were plenty of times that I honestly thought, I am never going to finish her. You know, she'll end up in the bin before we get there. So yeah, so now I just can't wait to get her to the framers and get her framed so that I can hang her on the wall and smile every time I look at her. Because in all of that's gone on and the fact that there are so many problems and errors with her, I still think she looks lovely. For me, you know, she's not perfect. She really isn't. And if a seasoned stitcher came to my house and looked at her, they would probably see straight away there are issues with this. You know, some of the stitches are not quite right, and you know, certain places you can see where there's a few issues, but do you know what? I'm fine with that. this was something completely new for me, but I've thoroughly enjoyed her. The only thing that I was going to ask for your help on is the white. The white, I mean, obviously she's on Pole Stitchers fabric, 28 count cashel linen, which is a hand dyed, so I can't wash her. But some of the white, it doesn't look grubby, but it's almost like you can just see that it's a little bit dirtier than other places. So I was wondering if before I take her to the framers, whether there's a way of sort of cleaning her up a little bit. I mean, can I dab her with a baby wipe? Can you do that? Can I give her a little rub? I don't know. I don't want to ruin her. I mean, it's not that obvious. I think once she goes behind glass, she probably wouldn't notice it. But obviously, me being me, I can see sort of places where the white looks a little bit dirtier in comparison to the newer white, which is down at the bottom. So any advice anyone's got on the possibility of maybe sort of making her a little cleaner, but obviously without washing her, would be very much appreciated. So, yay me! I haven't finished! A 2016 finish, woohoo! So yeah, so I'm overjoyed. I'm really pleased that she's done. It was it's really nice to know that I don't need to do any more beading or any more stitching on her, because I'm sort of stitched out on her for now. So, but yes, so at last I finish. What else to tell you? Oh God, dropping everything all over the floor. You'll remember from the last video as well, I showed you my my little Santa that I finally finished. And I was going to make it into an ornament to hang on my tree, which I have done. That's not as easy as it looks, is it? So here he is, Mr. Santa, all cut out. I've put a little thing on him, but the finishing bit didn't go so well. So that's the back of him, but I think it looks a bit messy. Look, I don't really know what to do about that. I mean, should I have stuck the backing on him first and then cut him out? Is that how you do it? Or am I supposed to cut him out first, then trace around him, and then cut the fabric and then stick it on? Because that's the way that I've done this. I basically cut him out first, then traced around him, cut the fabric out and tried to stick it on, which I did, but I'm not overly impressed. So I'm wondering whether I should stick the backing on and then cut him out and cut it all out as one. So anyone that does these frequently and can give me some advice on the best way to get a perfect finish, because that's not a perfect finish to me. And the reason that I asked this is because one of the things that I was going to show you anyway is I have a new start. So one of the ladies at work had seen my Santa and was like, oh, I'd love to have one of those on my tree. So I let her pick one out, and she picked this one. So he's got like a little raccoon that he's holding. Again, a Mill Hill kit. And I made a start on that. So this is my train project. This is the one, so again, we've been beading on the train. What fun that's been. People staring at me like I'm a bit strange. This is where we've got to. So he's not completed yet. Still got a lot of beads to go in. All the stitching's done, and obviously I've still got his moustache to go on. But yeah, so that is my little Santa. But obviously, because I'm going to be gifting this to her, I'm wondering if, you know, if there's a better way to finish it so that it looks a little bit nicer. I don't want to sort of finish it the same way I finished mine. But yeah, so this is another little start. So new start and my train project. I love the raccoon. I think he's proper cute. So, but yeah, so any advice on the finishing of the ornaments that go on the tree, be greatly appreciated. So thank you for that if you do. What else to tell you? Obviously there's not really been much stitching other than my lovely Mirabilia, but that's purely because she has been the focus piece. I've literally just stitched on her. So obviously once I finished her, I decided that I would get out my twisted band sampler and just do something a little bit different, just for a day or so, just to have a break. So you'll be looking at a picture of the last time you saw it. And this is where we're at now. So again, I'm still only working on one side. but I've finished another couple of bands. So I might do one more band on this today and then put it away again and get one of my Heaven and Earths out, because it feels like forever since I stitched on a Heaven and Earth. But I wasn't sure about the colours, was I, on this one? But I've got to be honest, that dark green and that light green, they actually look really nice now that they're together. So yeah, so progress on that. And love stitching this, because it's just, you know, it's just one of those things that once you get in a sort of rhythm, you can just roll with it. Obviously with me, I can't roll with it too far because I make mistakes. So obviously doing one page at a time seems to be helping. But this is the cross stitch only version, so nothing, no specialty stitches in this for me. So that's the progress on that. I've told you about my new start. News on the Lakeside Needlecraft sale, fantasy sale, that I decided to not do. On the back end of the video, a lovely lady contacted me and said, if you don't want to do it, I would really, really like to do it. Now, obviously, me being me, I'm like, well, you know, I've already paid for the chart. I'd already started it. So I made the agreement with her that if she bought the chart from Lakeside Needlecrafts, I would post her my fabric with the piece on that I'd done. She's got two smaller children that she said, you know, she'd finish it, she'd love to do it, she wanted to start it, but because it had already been running for a few months, she was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep up or catch up. Whereas obviously if she took over mine, she would be able to basically carry on from there. So I sort of said, well look, I'll make an agreement with you, I'll send it to you for free, because I wouldn't want her to pay for my piece that I've done, because that's not my sort of thing. But I did say that because obviously the loyalty to Noreen Jones, is it Noreen? Noreen Jones? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. I said you'll need to buy the chart from Lakeside Needlecrafts, and obviously I'll just send you the fabric with the project on as far as I've got. So that, I'm pleased to announce, has gone off to a new home, and hopefully is carrying on its little life with the family, where it's going to be put into a kiddie's bedroom so that the children can enjoy it. So so there's that one. Sorry for looking down, I'm just checking my notes to make sure I'm covering everything. What else to tell you? The chatelaine. So I got confirmation. Yeah, you guessed it. It had to do it, didn't it? Camera cut out. So I'm back again. The chatelaine. So got confirmation this week that it's shipped. Yay me. So hopefully, since Cindy contacted me, because I didn't harass her, but I did sort of send her a message saying, is there any chance it will be with me by Christmas? Because I would really, really like to know when it's arriving so that I can prepare myself, and hoping that we can make a start on it between Christmas and New Year. So confirmation has come back to say it has shipped. So she said it's very likely to arrive with me before Christmas. So, but Cindy was lovely. And I'll tell you what, European Cross Stitch, my first experience with them, they're good. I mean, okay, I know it takes a little while for them to package everything up because they order everything from all the separate suppliers, and then they send it as a big pack for you. But the communication is faultless. You know, I send an email and literally within an hour, another email comes back in to me answering my questions. So, you know, I can't fault that service. You know, there's one thing having service where things take forever and you send emails and no one comes back to you, or they don't come back very quickly, you know, you have to wait days. This is a whole nother thing. Yes, you know you have to wait for it. Yes, it's advertised on there. It can take up to 6 weeks for them to source all of your products. But if you send them an email, they will answer you, and they answer you quickly. So perfect customer service in my opinion. So yeah, so super excited for that. Also, obviously when I last spoke to you, you know, I knew the chatelaine was coming, but I also said that I'd ordered some fabrics. So the fabrics have arrived. So I'll quickly share those with you and try and do this without making too much rustly noise, because I know you don't like it. Also, massive thank you to the people on the Chatelaine website. I was having a problem with the fact that there was some colours within the chart that have been discontinued by the Silken Colours. Loads of people gave me advice as to where to go to get it. You know, some people sort of said, oh, you know, you might want to try contacting Silken Colours and see if they'll do a special for you. I am a lucky lady, because after sort of looking into bits and pieces and sort of companies and places where I could possibly get a colour that sort of matched, or, you know, an equivalent, a conversion, I came across a company, what's it called? The London Bead Company. So obviously it's in London. And would you believe my luck? They have the last skeins of the discontinued threads. I know, talk about lucky, right? Must have lucky written all over my face. So the colours that are discontinued, that I've managed to get my hands on before they've all run out here in the UK, was Lavender Haze, which is this one. Blue Cotton Frocks. And the last one, Elephant and Castle. So you'll see they're all lovely colours. But there was me trying to source a way of either finding a conversion, of which I couldn't really find one. They basically did say there isn't a true conversion for these colours. But I've got all the colours that are discontinued. So they are discontinued, but I've managed to source remaining stock here in the UK, so I was super chuffed and super happy about that. And as I said to you, I was unsure as to what colour fabric to go with because of the colour of the design. So this is the design that's coming. Now obviously that to me looks like it's bluey-ish. So now I need to wait for the rest of the materials to come and then do a bit of a floss toss. So these are the colours from Chromatic Alchemy that I ordered. So the first one is a green one, which is Spring at Lakeside. Oh, I should really take them out of the plastic. Should I take them out of the plastic? If I take them out of the plastic, it's just going to rustle and annoy everyone, so I don't really... Hold on, I'll tell you what, let me take them out of the plastic before. Stay there. Okay, so the colours that I went with, which I thought might be an option for this particular piece, are 28 Count Lugana Florin. So it's like a bluey grey colour with almost like a pinky white flecks in. So I'm not too sure. I mean, obviously, because I've not seen the materials, I can't make a decision on the fabric. The next one that I chose was Bridget's Garden, which is a greeny pink. There's lots of weird greens in this, so you've got darker greens and lighter greens. But it's more of a moss green in the main colour is more of a moss green, but then it's got this really greeny green colour there, splodges. So I'm not too sure on this one. The next one is Cyrus. Do really like this one. So this one is blue mottles, light blue, dark blue. So depending on the fabrics on the flossies as to whether they're like more blue based or green based, I think that one's a good choice on colour. And the last one, which again is sort of a bit of a favourite, that seems to be screaming out at me, is Spring at Lakeside. Don't know if this is an omen because I live quite close to a place called Lakeside. This one is Green Spring colour. So again, it's got some of the mottles of different colour green, but it is predominantly a green colour. So yeah, so they're the fabrics that I'm hoping will work for the chatelaine. But obviously until the chatelaine materials turn up, which hopefully will be this coming week, and I'll get hit no doubt with my really big customs charge, because that's what happens, I can't make my decision. So yeah, I think, people, that's about it. Oh, the couple of other things. So you'll remember in the last video I said it was me and Donna Murray decided we was going to do the chatelaine together, and make a start on that. Well, my friend Mary Perkins from the Stitching Retreat has also got a chatelaine that she'd like to start. So she contacted me and Donna and was like, any chance I could join in on the fun, girls? So it was like, of course you can. The more the merrier. So I'm pleased to say that Mary Perkins, who I'm afraid is not on FlossTube, but she joins FlossTube on my videos at the retreats, she is going to come along on the fun of chatelaine stitching, to also have a bit of moral support. So we're all going to help each other out, which is fabulous. So, so there's that. The only other thing that I wanted to mention, for those of you that are on Google Plus and on Google, I've started a blog. Because I'm really quite useless at the social media sites. So, you know, I'll dip into Facebook when I need a bit of help, and every now and then you'll see like a little like from me, but I'm really not very good at keeping up. I think because obviously I'm always at work, and when I'm on the tubes we don't have internet connection, it's really difficult to keep up with what's going on and the posts. So, you know, if I was to try and catch up on a day's worth of posts on the Facebook groups and the Instagram, I wouldn't actually get any stitching done, or housework, or work, or anything. So I do really struggle with social media, with the staying on top of things. So I do like flick through, but you know, it's the same as anyone else. You flick through for the first 5 minutes and then you don't see anything that goes beyond that. So for the number of posts that get posted onto those Facebook groups, I tend to miss loads. So I decided that because I'm not particularly good at posting anything of my own, apart from the odd finish when I do finishes, I thought it might be a better idea to do a blog. So I'll put the blog details below if you're interested, for those that like a bit of reading. I must admit, I've joined Blog Loving and Blogger, and it's great for when I'm on the train. So basically I can sort of, you know, I can bring the page up before I lose my internet and then read the blogs as I'm like travelling on my commute, which is great. And there's some lovely stuff on Blog Loving. So I thought I'd try blogging and see whether it would give a better update than me trying to use social media, because the social media I'm just not very good at keeping in touch with or on top of. So I'm hoping that this, at least I can do a blog once every week or once every 2 weeks, and it will at least give an idea of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. So so yeah, I think that's about it. So again, short and sweet video. I'll see you again at the beginning of January. So I hope you'll have a lovely Christmas for those that celebrate it, and get some time off work, which I think we all could do with. But thank you again for all the subscribers, for all your lovely comments. Again, I will try and answer as many comments as I can. Might not necessarily be straight away, but I'll do my very utmost. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you again all in January. So have a lovely Christmas and a happy new year to you all, and I'll see you on the other side. So bye bye for now.